Hello, so today's video is a little drive video with my voiceover. I just shot this footage from my car. I just got a new mount, so I thought it would be cool. It's gonna be a little bit about London, Ontario, where I live, and my observation about the city and Canada in general and where it's heading. And it's gonna be very brief, but hopefully it will be very enlightening for you guys that's planning to come here or feel the same things that I feel living in this city. So when I first came to London, the population was way less, and you can feel it year by year. Just the demand for the city is increasing immensely, and the biggest indicator of this is real estate, housing prices, people from outside the country, so to say China mostly, India, and even Middle Eastern countries. The demand is getting super high for the international students, the universities here, and out-of-towners, people that are from Canada, but the life standard is, so to say, higher but more expensive, less affordable. Cities like Toronto, Greater Toronto area, Vancouver, they realized the life quality in London is pretty good for what you pay, and they're driving the real estate market up and up and up, and that's a big complaint of the locals here. Housing prices, when I first came here, I remember getting a house closer to the university for rental purposes, for investment. It was around, you could find a nice decent house for around $300,000. Now the price is around $500,000 to $600,000, so it just doubled within a time frame of 4 to 5 years. I've been here for 10 years, but the price increases is becoming ridiculous in the last 5 years. It's just booming and booming, and the locals are complaining because the minimum wage hasn't increased a lot and their rental prices are going up. For out-of-towners, it's a blessing, but for locals, it's becoming a headache, and it's becoming a worry because they don't know how high these prices are going to go up. Locals can't afford buying a house anymore, and that's a big worry for them. Looking at the entire Canada from a bigger scope, coming to this country, you realize, if you are open-minded, that the history of Canada is not very long. The foundation of the country, looking back at the natives, the Inuits, it's about, like, I would say 100 to 150 years old. I mean, looking back at Hudson Bay Fur Company and all that, and people are coming from civilizations that's been existent for thousands of years, say immigrants coming from Iran or Turkey, so say the old Ottoman Empire or the Persian Empire or the Greek Empire. It's just their history is thousands of years old, so they've been through the whole corruption phase, the whole demolition phase, and they rose from their ashes, so to say. Canada is very young for that, and the population is so little compared to the geographical span of the country. It's, what is it now, maybe 35-40 million, and it's a huge country when you look at it, the square meter of it, square footage, so to say. And you don't face those things where you face back home, where corruption has been exceedingly bad, and the cliques within the government have developed years after years, and they matured, and there's tons of unfair, unjust stuff going around. In Canada, it is still existent, but not as much, because it's such a new country and the population's not there yet. So I'm sure Canada will get there, hopefully not, but it's inevitable. But it's such a nice country to live in because it's so new, from my perspective, and it's gonna take a long time for it to get to that corrupt phase, so to say, as population increases and whatnot. I mean, it will happen, but maybe my kids will see it. I mean, God willing, I have kids, or my grandchildren will see it, maybe not. As a country, I'm not complaining about Canada. It's very different from back home, but it has its pros and cons. Life quality here is good. It's, so to say, I would say a socialist country. The government does help its citizens in need. Nobody is starving like they're starving back home. I mean, there's help for homeless people, there's food, so nobody's really homeless. There is help if they want help. It might not be up to par for what's expected, from the government, from them, but it's still way better compared to other countries around the world. London, Ontario will grow, and I believe it can still sustain quite a bit of price increase still. It's with a lot of out-of-town investments, and the demand is still there, and they're planning to build a train station that's going to make it easily accessible to the greater Toronto area. It's still an investable city, so to say. It's not capped yet, so there's still some money to be made here, but it's almost at full capacity. Maybe a couple more years and it'll be done. That's what I think. But Canada, looking at the Canada standards, it will be done. Whereas there's always demand for immigration to Canada because it's such a prosperous country, and there's always money to be made in Canada. There's always a good life quality if you're, willing to work, willing to contribute to the society. You will be given your bread, so to say. Nobody will cheat you out of your bread. Nobody will abuse the workforce like they do in other countries. They might not give what you want, but you will get compensated fairly. That's my viewpoint. Another thing I want to touch upon is the oil prices. It's unbelievable what I faced when I first came to Canada. The liter price of gasoline was, 85 cents a liter when I first came to Canada 10 years ago, and I've seen 85 cents a couple months back. So with COVID, it hit pretty bad, and it was 10 years ago, it was the same. I saw it. It went up to, at one point, I remember, $1.50 a liter. Now it's back at $1 or sub dollar now, and the oil prices cannot stay this low. It's bound to rebound, so that's a good investment strategy. Do I like the city? Yes. Do I recommend this city if you're a family? Absolutely. If you're a single guy that wants to explore, that wants to have a broad vision of the universe and the world, no, because this is such a closed city. There's not much to do here. There's nature. It's a beautiful city, but you want to explore. There isn't much to explore. There's only so much. So if you want to settle down with your family, this is a good city. If you want some recommendations of what to do, where to go, where to work, you can always hit me up. I can always give you my recommendations. I've discovered a lot of beautiful natural spaces throughout the years that I lived here. There are some hidden gems here. Summertime is beautiful. The air quality is pretty good, and it's overall a good city. There is no complaints here. Canada is, pretty corporate, so to say, whereas you're gonna find your local coffee shop everywhere. Tim Hortons everywhere. You're gonna find your Monopoly grocery store everywhere. It's the same stores all around within a certain amount of radius. So you're not gonna be stranded in a country setting. You're always gonna find, your local stores where there's a bunch of it across Canada. So you'll be safe like that here. And yeah, this is enjoy the driving a little bit more, because I guess the footage is a little bit longer. You're gonna see this is pretty much from the gym to my house. I just wanted to shoot a footage of it. Where I live is close to the nature, I guess, right back in onto the trails. and it is beautiful. I love the nature, and yeah, enjoy, guys. Thank you.